You talked, Shauna, about the value of having the sort of the plan in place, the interventions, the sort of the action plan of what to do, where to go in a state of emergency. But obviously that doesn't take away all of that fight or flight response and doesn't take away all the anxiety. So, Polina, from your perspective, what do you think is needed to support patients more in that? Because to me, and again with the work that I did before this, that's what really struck me, is the immense burden of living in that
Yeah.
heightened state all the time. So what should good care and good support look like over and above that really valuable reaching out to community and connection?
Yeah, I think ideally, from my point of view, I think ideally every patient, even if he had anaphylaxis or didn't have it, even it's not important how high tryptase level is. So if it's indolent or aggressive, so every patient should, I would say, also have psychological support, or at least had an option. So he needs to know that there is an option, and I can also to talk with someone about this. And I think from our also perspective, we physicians, we also need to try to identify, to understand the patient, how severe he is impacted. So we also need to ask these questions. Do you think you need this additional? So do you need, you think, a consultation? So I mean, in ideal world, everyone should have it, but at least to identify the high need, to the need from the patient perspective. And it also, to make the patient really being very open to you, you also, again, you need a lot of time, and you need that the patient really have a lot of trust to you, because I'm not sure, I don't know, Shona, from your perspective, I think that we also need to talk the same language, yeah, because the patients, maybe even that's why the patient organizations, it's so important, because then there is maybe another level of discussions which we don't, all of these discussions we do. So there, I think, even still there, not everyone is being ready to talk with a physician to discuss the psychological burden, because it's still, I think, not really very well accepted, that you are somehow have anxiety, or you are depressed about this. So it's not, it's there is a big room of improvement in this situation. And also, to what in my hands also helps to better identify it, again, to ask the patient to write it down. And usually with the questions, we also have some questions even where we ask, to try to think, if you did everything what you planned in your life, or did mastocytosis somehow was a problem for you to achieve the goals. So, and this they also do even before they come to a physician. So this, and I think this is also could be a very helpful thing when the with the specific tools, when the patient are being able just to really thought alone with themselves what is the problem, what how they feel, and not directly communicate this. So you don't need to say, I have anxiety, because it's really, I could imagine, maybe difficult for many of the patients to confirm this, to show this, and to start this discussion.
Absolutely. And I've got two more questions I want to ask before I want to go to some questions, because I see that we've got quite a few there that I think would be nice to answer live. From your perspective, Shauna, obviously a lot of people are seen locally and not necessarily in a specialist centre or an area of expertise. What do you see from communicating again with your peers as well that might be some of the common blind spots in wraparound care? You know, are there some big gaps there that you think need to be addressed in the future?
That is a huge, the multidisciplinary, the fact that we were always referred to all these specialists and they don't communicate. You're going to have to be your advocate, and you're going to have to translate the information to every single specialist that you have. Again, like, you're going to have to introduce yourself as a SM patient and explain that, because even after seeing a cardiologist, and I told him, followed up after my diagnosis, he's like, "Oh, well, that makes sense." And I was like, "Well, for the love of God, you gotta tell me, you gotta save me about a year." But anyways, so you have to explain it across, because a lot of times in the specialists, they're not in the same healthcare system.
Yeah.
And not all healthcare systems talk to each other, right? So that's another problem. I'm blessed as in I'm through the military system where we can access all the labs from every location all over the world. We're like you guys where you have our own little world of health. But I have seen specialists on the outside in the local areas, and then whatever information I get from them, I physically download and enter into my health chart. You have to be active in communicating that.
It's a lot of onus put back on the patient to really do all of that care coordination piece.
Unfortunately, yes, but I'm worth it.
Yeah.
So
no one's going to deny that.
I mean, you can't blame other people. You have to take. I mean, we trusted too many people too long. So I think that's why now we're all such huge advocates, and we all participate, and we are the most heard community.
Yeah.
Because now we're going to make people listen to us.
Absolutely. Well, like we said at the chatted before the session started, the most engaged community we've ever worked with. It's a fantastic community. So ending on a note of optimism, Polina, looking sort of horizon scanning to the future, what are the things within research and clinical setting, because you bridge both worlds there, that are giving you most reason for optimism?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of reasons actually, because we have more and more upcoming multidisciplinary centers. So then I think that we will soon live in this perfect world for mastocytosis, hopefully. So that's the first, and I think we see more and more availability of the diagnostics tests, including these KIT mutation tests. So which will also help us to identify more patients. And since a lot of many years now, we have also the first, I think, the first since few years, the first target treatments for mastocytosis, and this is, I think, will also change completely how other physicians are interested, how we can treat the patients, because since so many years we even all these diagnostics were not really getting also relief for the patient and for a physician. So we knew this, but we didn't know what we can do. And now we know that there is the first tyrosine kinase inhibitors. So they are really very specifically target this mutation. So it means that we really are able for the first time to deplete these mutated mast cells, but not the healthy cells. And then I think we will slowly maybe have a transition to discuss less about their triggers or this other stuff, how to live their life, not to provoke mastocytosis. So we will just treat it, and then we say, you can now do whatever you want. So this is, I think, the future which we are really now already stepping. And when we see the patients who were even now with these new treatments, they come back to us and say, now I can eat tomatoes, and that's a game changer. So this is really, you have never seen the patients being so happy about tomatoes in the life. So I think I'm very positive about this because of exactly this new step of the new drugs first already in place and already available. And there are also a lot on the go, so we can even also other drugs which maybe similarly also target this mutation. We also can absolutely deplete all mast cells, even healthy mast cells. We can also work on the signals within the mast cells. So there is now much more in the place than I think for years this antihistamines. Shona, you can share your experience.
Oh my gosh,
then
yes.
you switch one to the other one tablet, now 4, and then let's mix with So it's I think now it's great time.
Amazing. I've got a couple of questions. I think that was a great point to end on. There's a couple of questions I'd really like to get your view on. One of them I think is for you, Sean, and it says, this person said their social interactions with friends has diminished due to the IMS. How do you share your SM experience with people to help them know why you're pulling away socially? Something I imagine a lot of people have had that dilemma. So how might people deal with that?
I don't think it's pulling away. You have to educate them, and either they're going to care and engage or they're not.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to care and engage in your journey, then they're not the right team.
Okay.
They're not the right people to be with, right? Yeah. I personally try not, I don't really talk much about it just because people, they only hear what they want to hear, right? So you live your life, still go on and enjoy it. Just say, well, hey, I would love to participate, but is there any way we can adjust or modify the situation, right? So like, I don't go out to eat much, but I have a group of friends that we go out once a month, and we try to make it an environment where it's either open setting, where it's like an outdoor setting or whatever, and they don't wear their perfumes and their lotions and their smells, and I still get to engage with my friends and I still get to do it. I just have to modify my actions, right? So either they want to participate or they don't, and don't take it personal.
No, I love that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it also.
Another one here, and I'm not sure who might be best placed to answer this, but this person says, how do we advocate for ourselves when we ask for emergency help and the physician refuses to acknowledge TMS emergency care sheet? Any thoughts?
Do you want me to start with that? Okay, I want to jump on in on that. Okay, so for me personally, I have a laminated letter from my doctor on my care and how he needs for me to treat it and what my reactions are, autographed with his cell phone number. I keep the laminated copy in my purse, in my backpack for work, in my binder for my car, on the back of the door. Everywhere is there. Like, this is the deal, this is the rule. Now, it's not always going to happen. As the example, I went to the ER and the nurse said that I wasn't anaphylactic. I was texting my doctor the whole time. And I was lucky enough to have a doctor here that coordinates care, on base here that coordinates care, where he could step in and advocate for me. But you have to have and again, the caregiver is very vital, your husband or whatever. My husband stepped in when this situation went down. And let's say the next time I go to the ER, my chart is flagged and it will never happen again. So if you don't feel like you're being heard, maybe go to patient advocacy for that hospital, for that doctor, switch doctors. Feel free to fire that doctor, okay? The biggest thing is people are so desperate to hold on to help, they'll put up with bad behavior from their physicians. Life is too short. Move on to the next doctor. He's not worth it. They're not listening.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I also think,
oh, sorry. On you go.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just think also communicate. I think so clear communication, so physician-patient communication is very important in this case, and maybe also ask your physician if it's okay that I can give maybe your email to their anesthesiologist, or in this case of the procedure. And I think that it's, for example, we are also always open to talk to the other physician who is treating, because we understand it's a rare disorder, and maybe there would be just that the other physician have a chance also to ask someone what he can do when he doesn't know. So this also could be, I think, maybe communicated from the patient perspective.
Amazing.
Yeah, offer education. There's lots of continued educations online for them regarding SM patients that they can further and say, hey, I invite you to join XYZ.
Yes,
to learn more about the care. And if they don't take the interest, then they're not the right doctor for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've also had a comment from someone just saying, really glad that the stress aspect was mentioned, because anxiety has been a huge factor for them. So it's pleased that was mentioned. And then one final question, which I think leads to something you said, Polina, about avoiding Google. And they said, can you recommend a book for newly diagnosed SM to avoid Google and AI? Any good resources out there that we can really direct people to?
I mean, that's kind of funny. Dr. Google said I would have been dead by now, so
Oh.
they're right. They're right. They're right. In 2022, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Right? So don't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say we also have the information which was specifically from their our Society of Physicians being developed for the patients. So we also with the patient organizations, the information which is on the website. It's also usually in our country we give feedback to this information, so usually it's a good information, and then it can be printed and given to their patient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And also someone has recommended the Rare Revolution issue on systemic mastocytosis, and actually I think that is a really good place to go, because aside from the fantastic articles, there's a lot of really good signposting to all of the advocacy groups there. And I think as anyone's first port of call, reach out to the support groups in your area where you can get the really credible information. So I think Becky will maybe drop the link in there if she can. If not, we'll follow up with that so people can access it, because I think, you know, that's where you're going to find really solid information, and try and resist the AI. As good as it is, it's not the full picture. So thank you both so much for your time. We managed to get in almost in the hour, which is amazing.
Thank you. Was really lovely talking to you.
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic. So thank you both so much. Of course, thank you to our sponsors for supporting the webinar. As I said at the start, this is the first of a series of 4 throughout 2026 where we'll be bringing different topics within the field of mastocytosis. So watch out for those. The next instalment will be coming out in June, which will be on understanding and managing your diagnosis and the triggers. So again, a really important sort of step on from this, I think, which will be great. Today's Rare REV-inar will be available on demand from the resources page of our website over the coming week, so that anyone that you know that you'd like to send this to, or if you didn't catch all of it, you can watch it back. We always love to hear from our audience, so please feel free to reach out to the contacts that will come up at the end. We always welcome hearing from you, and if you've any follow-up questions, we can direct them to the panelists, so anyone that's listening can follow up with that. But for now, thank you, Shauna and Polina, and thank you for everyone listening, and have a great rest of your day.